Okay, guys, I'm going to introduce Mike Aguilaro, but this is even better. He's got a video, and this is badass. You're going to get the chills. I love it. So, then pull up the video, and we'll get started. This is Brotherhood Podcast with Mike Aguilaro, and here we go.
When we break the tipping point, when we go over the edge where it's 3 million every month and 3 million to walk in the park, guess who the game changes for? Everybody in the room. With my beautiful goddess of a wife for nearly 4 decades.
Mike is now sharing his formula for a full life, allowing people to grow and expand their entire lives to achieve the impact that they want, that building the wealth that they desire.
So if you are a business owner, if you run a mastermind group, you want to be involved with Mike. Take it from me, somebody who's worked with him on multiple levels. Mike is the real deal.
If there's one person in my list of who to surround yourself with, it's Mike Aguilaro.
Please welcome Mike Aguilaro. That's an intro. Let's give him a hand, guys. There you go. That is the awesome video, brother. Great to have you on here again, Mike. Great to have you on here again. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's very valuable. This is the Brotherhood podcast, and these are members of the Brotherhood. So great to have you on here, brother. How you doing, man? I know you're doing awesome, but how are you doing?
Yeah, awesome. Excited to be here. You might have to edit in the other video. It was a little bit choppy there, but I'm excited to serve. Let me know what we got to get done here.
Love it. Mike, I'm gonna go right into it, man. Like I met you in a mastermind. I don't know if you remember this, but I met you in a mastermind call like probably 2 years ago with George Bryant and Stephen Thompson. And I accidentally ended up on that call, and you were one of the great people that I met on that call. We became like fast friends. We related really well. You're a martial artist. You've sold a couple companies, like high 8-figure companies. I love that you're you're a family man. Your wife, you talk about her as a goddess. Love that. That's why I call my wife. And just your energy, man. You're just one bad dude. So we just want to give you another big welcome for everybody. Let's give him a hand, guys. Mike coming out today, sharing his time with us. He doesn't need to do this. He gets paid to speak everywhere. So we're really fortunate to have you, and just wanted to say thank you one more time.
Thank you. Don't make me feel too good, because if my wife hears you put me on a pedestal, she's going to try to knock my ass down later to balance me out. So don't talk too nice about me, everybody. Okay.
She in the background? Does she hear us?
No, she's not.
Okay.
We just finished up lunch. She's upstairs.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome, man. Yeah, listen, I have some really deep. What I loved what I said to you a couple days ago. I'm like, hey, there's some things I want to ask you about in relation to simulations and the COVID stuff and all that. Like, and you're one of the only guys I've met that you're so far ahead of everybody. So we're gonna get to that in a minute or in a couple minutes. But I love that you said, Nick, I don't care. Ask me anything. Like that's a person that I want on my podcast. That's who I want in the Brotherhood. Like if people are worried about all kinds of, what you're going to ask them and whatever, like I'm kind of worried about them because it's like a true person. Just like bring whatever you got. I'm ready. Like, and that's what I love about you, man. So Mike, I think first though, can we tell them a little about the story? Like where you started, how you sold your companies, like how you became so successful with that? Like, and start with that first, like the companies you sold, what your background was, and I'll just shut up.
Yeah, I'll give you guys the speed background, but I'd love to know what industry you guys are in. So if you type in the chat bar, or anybody watching the replay, always participate if it's on YouTube or Facebook or everywhere. I'll give you the speed round. Look, I've been on my own since I'm 15 years old. I always say I'm a survivor of a really vicious, mom-dad divorce. That put me ending up in a vocational school because there was kind of a conveyor belt, like college, you, Mike, no, you're probably an effing plumber or electrician. So I became an electrician. And I did that for about 10 years struggling. I don't know if any of you small businesses and stuff. I struggled for about a decade. I always loved the martial arts. I know when I'm coming in Nick's world, I'm like, because I'm doing martial arts for 38 years. I've been trained in Daitureiki Jiu-Jitsu, Shorin Karate, all the Okinawa weapons. It's very common. I'm pulling out a training blade and stuff. So like you guys already got me so excited here. And I ran my own
Like real quick,
dojo
they're all
for many
gym
years.
owners, all gym owners right here, all martial artists, all of
I
them.
love it.
Yeah,
I
brother.
love it.
Real quick. Sorry, but keep going.
You're in great company here, and it's one of my favorite groups to communicate with because I know your world well. As I ran a public dojo, I ran what I called an underground dojo. But after about 10 years of struggling, everybody, just like some of you, there's a point where you say to yourself, I just don't know what the hell to do. So I better find someone who knows how to do it quicker and faster to get me to a finish line. Since then, I've invested a lot in my own education, like over $4 million in my own education.
Wow.
And you know, it's funny, Nick, somebody said to me one time, they said, brain surgeons don't even have that money in their education. And I said, I get it, but I've also made more than probably most brain surgeons in the world combined in their salaries. I grew a service company, which I grew it from under $1 million to 32 million.
Wow.
All right, in New Jersey. So if anybody's in New Jersey, I had 165 trucks driving around, fixing people's stuff in their house. 200 employees, double-digit profit. We were tracking for 40 million. I sold it in 2017. Not because I didn't like it. You guys should write something down. You never sell a company. You sell yourself into a bigger, better future.
Love
Okay,
that.
that's what you do. I didn't sell it because I didn't love it. I had 200 employees. Like this thing was a machine. It ran for 5 years without me. It put over $1 million cleared in my pocket a year, and life was pretty damn simple. In 2014, maybe like some of you guys, I would get around my friends, Nick, in the industry, and I'd be like, hey, man, how's everything going? And they're like, horrible, can't find good help, struggling, behind on bills. And then they go, Mike, how's it for you? And I'm like, horrible. I'm like, I just bought 20 trucks, hired 30 people, cash is pouring out of the sky. But I started to dim my light. Type in the chat bar, did any of you ever dim your light? Your light, you're like at Thanksgiving and you want to tell how great things are, but you don't want your sister-in-law to be like Mr. Big Shot Dojo owners here. Like that's a lot of my world. So in 2014, I made a commitment. I'm going to change, Alex, the industry, the whole blue collar industry. I'm going to take it on ferociously. I'm going to go out there with the tattoos and unlock a world like nobody could imagine. And in 5 years, I coached over 1,000 business owners, over 20,000 service people through my training. And then I sold it in 2020. I did. And you guys know you're teaching classes just like me. I was teaching so many classes, like there's fatigue and you always got that one person shows up. You all want to say you love all your students, right? But do you really? I didn't love them all. I loved most of them.
I agree with
And
that.
I sold it in 2020, not because I didn't love it, because we did 35 3-day events a year. Every other week, we were in a room with hundreds of people. And because I brought my martial arts into what we were doing, I was taking regular business owners, putting, MMA gloves on them, having them write on the glove, which maybe you'll do this in your job, write on one glove what they're fighting for their family, the other glove what they're fighting on for life. And I would take them in a parking lot at midnight with spotlights, quartz lights, and 100-pound heavy bags and make them run and throw it on the ground and beat it until their soul bled out all their weakness. And it was the secret weapon. The secret weapon was I was taking business owners and breaking through every belief system inside of them in a very non-traditional way. So it's pretty common for me to do a leadership training and everybody's in the parking lot and put black bags over their head and walk them in a room that sounds like there's lions in it and make them so scared shit that when they took it off, there was nothing but like calmness. And then they had to really recognize what's fear. I sold that in 2020. And again, because the pandemic was coming in, I sold in the middle of a pandemic. And both of these deals were high 8-figure deals. I've done over 500 million in my companies. But I sold into a bigger future, which is this thing I do today called Food Dog. People did not know how to manage their life. They didn't know how to manage their business. They didn't know how to manage wealth. So here's where we are today. I own an organization that helps people with life, business, and wealth by design. And I'll hand it back over and I'll share any deep, dark secret you want to ask me. And I'll give it to you as transparent, real, and raw as possibly I can.
I love it, Mike. The service business that you first sold, was that a electrician company, or was the electrician and HVAC?
We did plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, drain cleaning, one-day bathroom solutions, basement waterproofing. We were what was called, and you should write it down,
Yeah.
one-stop shop. And I'll tell you why. No business has a choice, Nick, but to be a one-stop shop. And I learned this because I was watching Walmart. I was watching Costco. I was watching all these companies, and I'm saying, man, when you go there, you're just going for eggs. You go to Walgreens, you might just want eggs or some cough drops. Next thing you know, they're trying to sell you insurance and eyeglasses. And I started to say, hang on, time's the most valuable asset for people, and convenience has to match up with time. So I became a one-stop shop in all those industries, and we dominated New Jersey. We were the thoroughbred in it. And then I transitioned.
Wow, that is all, because a lot of people would say, like, they're telling you like only do one thing really well, but I love how you took the time analogy. Like that's so true. So wow, so because my son is actually a plumber, by the way.
Mm.
So yeah, so he's gonna watch your podcast. He works for, I don't even know, Connor Plumbing. He sold to private equity, but he's a real good guy. I taught his kids, they were my black belts. And then
Nice.
also recently I have equity in a HVAC company. So
Ah.
yeah, I'm helping them with all their stuff, and it's interesting. Yeah, so that's awesome. So that's really cool. So you said I could ask you anything. Let's talk about this one. As far as like during that time period with all those people that your employees and stuff, and then you're transitioning and you're selling all these companies. Um, did anyone stay with you during, like, were any people you took with you and all your? Is there a couple guys, or like did everyone did you sell the companies and they just stay where they were?
Oh, they restrict the shit out of you.
Oh,
That's just what they do.
yep.
And it's okay because when I had the service company and I started let's call it a coaching company, it was really a training and implementation organization. Because
Love it.
really, if you had a choice between a coach or a plan to train and implement, you rather the training and implementation plan. When I was selling gold medal and growing CEO Warrior, some of them naturally moved over in a new company, not because I was selling, because their skill sets led over. After I sold the service company and I had the coaching company, I didn't have any other, I had some management companies, but no other companies after that. And they restricted everybody from me except I had some vendor partners.
Okay.
And I actually have one vendor that was a vendor of mine that did copywriting. He's been in my world 10 years. And just to show you how loyal I am and how much I love to work with this guy, they said, well, you can't work with anybody. And this is, guys, I can't say the exact number, but this is over a $40 million transaction, right? It's no joke. And they said, you can't work with this person no more. And I said, all right, kill the deal. My business partner didn't like it. He's like, what are you talking? Like, I've worked with this guy 10 years. It's one of my favorite things to do. Matter of fact, he's a partner of me and my wife's in this business. I told them, if I can't work with him and maintain that, kill the deal. They're like, and the people that were buying it are like, are you serious? That much money you'll walk away from? And I said, look, I am so loyal. You could look it up in Wikipedia and still not know the definition of loyalty. So needless to say, they wanted the company and they said, all right. And now he's a partner with me and my wife years later.
That's awesome, man. That is really cool. I love the loyalty, man. That's awesome. And then as far as like what you're doing now, could you explain to us what Food Dog's all about, what you're doing now, like, and that whole direction?
So it's really about what I solved is what we're doing. When I was doing and I don't know about the martial arts space is probably pretty diversified. I don't know how diversified it is, but in the service industry, when I owned the company CEO Warrior, it was 95% men, right? There's a lot of testosterone. And what happens is when you're predominantly men, it sounds good, but it's very out of balance. So I was making people really rich and divorced, which was not the intention, really wealthy and fat and sick, which was not the intention. So after I sold it, I thought I was just going to do some trainings. I thought I was going to do these cool trainings. We do things like Seekers of Power, where we tell people, well, it's funny because someone challenged me on one of my calls the other day. And they said, I do this thing where you understand energy, Nick, at such a level that when you understand that you're not separate from everything, and I'm sure you guys must play with energy or studied yeshiva or something. Like I'm a big energy guy. And I wanted to show them, I was talking about energy. And the guy challenged me on my Zoom yesterday. He's like, what is that? And I started just, I just started bending. Now, this is a very strong fork here. And I just started to tell him that when you become in line with energy, just like what you can do, but it was out of balance with just men. The energy was out of balance. And I wanted to build something where men and women, even if they're not in business together, they can grow themselves, their family. So Food Dog helps life, business, wealth by design. Otherwise, you have it by default. And we do it through trainings, online trainings, programs, resources, tools. And sometimes we do like Nick. I will let you guys know I have a partnership company where we do partner in equity in companies. And the goal is to take that to 500 million by 2030. Someone asked me, Nick, they said, why are you, because Food Dogs, this is our passion. This is our soul's purpose, this. They said, why do you got this other thing that you're going to do 500 million by 2030? I said, because I just haven't done it. Like, why do you learn to create any level of mastery? It's because you want to show you could break a boundary so others. I'm here I don't want you to be impressed by me. I want you to say to yourself, if this tattooed guy that went to vocational school can do this, and you're way tougher, you guys all look way tougher martial artists than me, what could you do? What's possible? So that's what we do today.
That's awesome, brother. Before I get into the stuff I can't wait to talk about, I'm just asking a couple other questions. I messaged you earlier about Mike Michalowicz.
Yeah.
I recommended his book and books, but Get Different was one of my favorite books. He's one of your friends. I knew he worked with Kevin Harrington, Robin Robbins. I mean, like, you worked with pretty much everybody. Is there like who were some of the best relationships you've worked with out of the entrepreneurs that some of these most of the people in here would know?
Man, I mean, Jay Abraham, highest paid on consultant on planet Earth. I've become friends with him over the last decade and a half.
Nice.
Mike Michalowicz over a decade. If he does come on your show, just ask him. He tells this story how he defeated me in a battle. It's hilarious. Let him tell it to you. Dean Jackson, great friends. Joe Polish. I mean, Kevin Harrington, original Shark of Shark Tank. Like, I think what's even more Nick than who I know, it's everybody I know is only because of my level to serve them. And I'll give you guys a great example. I reached out to Kevin Harrington and I was not friends with him at all. And he entertained to get on a Zoom with me because someone said, hey, you should at least get on with Mike. So he got on and he was like, hey, he was very kind. What could I do for you? And I said, I hope you don't find this offensive or rude at all, but I want to let you know, I want nothing from you. I need nothing from you at all. I said, I have an opportunity that someone brought to me and I thought it might be a fit for you. I have nothing to do with it. If it's a fit, cool. And if not, I'm done. He turned around to me and he says, in all his years of life, he's never had anybody come on Zoom and say they need nothing from him. And I said, well, because it's true. I don't care about your podcast, your show, your success. I don't care about what you did on Shark Tank. All I care about is I know someone, it was actually in a roofing industry. They had a product. And I said, I know you have something in roofing. And if you never put this together, maybe you could put it together. And if that's a fit, you don't even have to tell me. I hope it's good. And if not, I hope in the future someday we'll become friends if it makes sense. And since then, what do you think happened? He's come spoke at my event. We're friends. He's been on Zooms like this with clients of mine. So I think, Nick, it's more than who you know. It's like, how do you know them, you know?
Love it, man. Love that. Love Joe Polish too. Great guy.
Yeah.
This is a great question. Before I get into the COVID and the other the stuff that I can't wait to get to. So like right now, we're going through this election period. Like the next couple months, in my opinion, could be pretty crazy. Like what would you tell these owners right now? Like I know that you're always far in advance. Like you actually said after COVID that if you weren't ready for COVID, what did you actually say about that? You said that if you weren't prepared for it, if you weren't really ready. What was that quote you told
Yeah,
me?
you weren't ready. You weren't even thinking. I mean, what humans are in a constant state of a bubble when you want to be in a constant state of being as close to Nostradamus as possible. That's what you want to be. And I've prided myself on looking into the future and seeing, and I have a lot of ways to do it. We could dig into that, but I look into the future to say, what are the pieces that everyone's ignoring and looking past the puppet for you guys, all of you. I mean, anybody in the martial arts world, like this is like, put up your hands because gold's falling because we're already in a silent recession. Like, so let's not be confused. We've been there right before the year flipped. But New Year's Eve comes, everybody makes their New Year's resolutions. I'm going to be rich and wealthy and healthier and all this bullshit. You guys know it better than anybody. When I used to have a martial arts dojo, like, man, New Year's like January, baby, right? Come on in the door. February, yeah, all these people, they think because they, they know how to throw a kick, they're all fucking ninjas now and stuff. But, when you look at this and you say to this, what's happening, like with silent recessions, we are facing more crime than ever before. Okay, so that's bracket number one. And you're exciting me. You're making me feel like I should open a dojo again. But crime rises. That's a fact. Number two, certainty of human beings. How certain you are in your future. It's down. It's way down. And someone just said it yesterday because you know what? Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's politically correct or you'd get a fire outside your school or something, but like people should be running a program called Anxiety Buster. Like it's like, are you kidding me? This is not a badge of honor. Like now I'm not, if any of you deal with it, please don't, I'm not getting in the octagon. I hate to get hit. I don't want to get kicked at. I don't want any of that in my life. If you try to fight me, I'm going to try to hug you, go away. I got no room for that shit anymore. I did too much of that stupid shit in my ego mind years ago. I watched these guys in the UFC and I go, fuck, I don't care if you made 100 million. When you understand the brain, getting punched in the head just sucks long-term, no matter what. But the other thing is we're in a world of forced identity. And it's forced into the children. Now it's been happening. You want to say, I always say, anytime I meet somebody, I'm like, do you believe in conspiracies? And they say, yes, we're going to be best fucking friends, right? Because I'm like, we are all in, baby. We're all in. If you say, oh, I don't believe in we're on Mars or on the moon, I'm like, fucking idiot. Just get away from me because you've been so programmed by the world, you're delusional. And so in your space or all business right now, there's two groups of people there's going to be. Those that are panicked and frozen, fight, flight, and freeze. You guys probably teach that. And those that are like this, for just holding their hands out going, coins are going to fall from the sky because they are. And in your industry, like, okay, anxiety and ADHD and all this stuff, I'm like, I'm not saying it's not real, but I'm a mind guy. I am. I understand belief systems. I understand the conscious, the subconscious, the superconscious more than most people on planet Earth. I've watched people, I've adjusted their mind, remove tumors from their body, blockages from their heart. I mean, I've helped facilitate things that the doctors go, of course, all of you, tell me in the chat bar, all of you know someone, a friend, a student that has a problem ringing in their ear and the doctor goes, we just can't figure it out, right? Am I wrong?
100%.
And I go, here's my question. Ready, Nick? And I'll hand it back to you. I just go like this. Do you deal with any shame, guilt, or trauma from your past? Anything? Physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse. And the minute they go yes, I say, they can't solve it because they're asking the wrong questions. They're trying to look at blood alone. They're trying to look at hydration alone. They're not looking at the vibration side of things. So you guys got me all cranked up already here.
Oh, this is awesome. I love it. I'm so happy like that I'm not the only person. Like when I hear that that you said Nostradamus, and this is great. And I haven't even talked to you in a long time. We haven't done Zoom in a while. This is great. Let's get deeper into this one though, because this is great. So Mike, what are the, like when we, like, I don't even want to give you my biases or my opinions. So right now where we are, what are the threats that these guys should really be preparing for? Give me the threats, like with, with the election and the different factors that could happen. You said Nostradamus. What are things they should be preparing for? You said simulations. Like I love, you were talking about that like, before COVID and stuff like that. You said, if you don't think there's gonna be another thing, you're not getting ready for, you're not doing simulations, you're not gonna be prepared. What is it? What are they? Give us the drop.
So first, let's understand what a simulation is. And you guys, it'll make sense to you, but let me give you the definition. A simulation is putting yourself in a situation so that you understand how many ways to be prepared. This is you guys, right? If you're like me, you put somebody in a room, there's 3 people, and you're saying these 3 attack you. Or you put them in a room and then you dial the lights down. Then you put them in a room and you put a knife in their hand. And that's a simulation, right? You put them in the room and you put a blindfold and you hit them in the shoulder, and so they know how to react or something, right? It's no different in business. It's a simulation. Now, here's what I never say be concerned, because if you want to write something down, nothing is difficult. It's only different. You should write that down. Nothing's difficult. It's only different. The only reason it feels difficult to you is because you haven't forecasted a bunch of ways, and you may not have the knowledge, or what I would say wisdom, to navigate it. And just so you know, one thing that we're going right now, knowledge today is going to be completely useless. Okay. And some of you are in the knowledge business. Why is it going to be useless? Because with this AI today, which, just so you know, has been around a long time, the world just was not at a conscious level to handle it. But now that you're at an awareness level, they can put AI. But like I have somebody in one of my groups, he's one of the top AI guys on the planet. He's like, Mike, okay, it's been around so long, but the world wasn't even ready for this. Now watch this. So someone's going to go to their phone, maybe already on an app, maybe you guys have, and they're going to type, I have a bully at school. He's a punky kid with an earring and a tattoo, and he's 5'6". What do I do? And a video is going to pop up and say, well, put your hand up, say stop, back off, use this language. If he steps in, rip the ear, blacken the eye, right? And they're going to go, I no longer need you, because ChatGPT told me just do a little throat grab, poke, do a little eye gouge or something, do a little arm bar, you'll be safe. And they'll go, okay, now we all know what's going to happen. They're going to get their ass kicked, because that fucking machine ain't never teaching nobody real stuff. So they're going to get beat up. But then they'll come home and type ChatGPT, I got my ass beat up. What do you do now? And it's going to say, well, listen, bitch, did you think a computer would teach you how to defend yourself? That's probably what it's going to say, something like that. So we have this world right now where, okay, monkeypox. Come on. You missed it with the name. You missed it with the name. Monkeypox. But we'll fix it. We fixed it. Mpox. Okay, I got you now. Now, why is Mpox a brilliant marketing name? Almost as brilliant as Trump with his arm in the air. I mean, come on. If just when you thought, make America great, number one most brilliant tagline in history, until number two, make America. I could just see all these people. He's paying them millions of dollars. Like, we need something great. We need something better than great. Wait, what about we just make America great again? Oh my God, that's brilliant, right? So, and I'm not saying you got to love the guy or hate the guy. I mean, I think he does a lot of things good, and he's like me. Probably, my wife says everything that comes to your mind shouldn't come out your mouth, Mike, because not everybody's prepared to hear it. But then, boom, hand in the air. This is going to be one of the greatest pictures in here. So write this down. It's a marketing game, is what's happening now. Mpox. Now type in the chat bar. I'm so curious about this, Nick. Nick knows his groups always get me so excited. How many of you had chickenpox parties as a kid? What were parents thinking? Yeah, right. You're like, I'm itching. I got bumps. And your parents, now I'm from an Italian family, parents go, oh, we should hold a fucking party, right? We should hold a party. And you got around with your friends. You were spitting on each other, calamine lotion all on each other's face, right? And nobody said, you're going to die in the street and you got to get a vaccine. You'll fucking die tomorrow if you don't. You didn't see COVID parties. You didn't walk out there, they said COVID, and you're like, let me lick you. You didn't. So Mpox, it's a real deal. It's a real deal. Why is it a real deal? Because the people think it's real. I'm not telling you to be like me. You'll probably laugh a little, but I want you to take a lot of logic and strategies from me. When COVID came in and they had all this, look, I've been trained to believe I'm super fucking human. So if you cut my arm off, I'm like, bitch, it's going to grow back, right? Because I've been built by design that way. So I trust my immune system, and I trust my mind can do beyond what my immune system, because it controls the immune system. So Mpox, number one. Technology. Okay, this is a real concern for me. And when I say concern, I want you to go concern equals opportunity. I have to talk in your language, because I got to meet you where you're at. If I meet you where I'm at and you were where I am, we're sitting here going, fucking, let's be mapping out, the next $100 million. And you're going, I don't know if the school can do that. And I'm only open 7 days a week in these hours. And I'm like, really? I'm like, come on now. Everybody has millions and millions and millions to make. So, but this technology, the main issue with technology, everybody, is that it's moving faster than the human consciousness can handle it. So let me explain. Like, AI has never made an idiot smart. It made him appear like he thinks he's smart, because he's on watching Jeopardy as a kid and can answer the fucking thing. Any one of you have like an aunt or uncle, they're like, bah. And I'm like, you're brilliant, but you can't even make $5. So you're a brilliant broke ass person. Stop watching effing Jeopardy and shit, right? So this is giving this fake inflation of knowledge. I want to give you a superpower, though. I want to give you something. I want you guys to get out of the knowledge business, because it's so available. I want you to be in the wisdom business. Write that down, everybody, because knowledge is going to be in the phone. Wisdom is off of experience. Okay. I'm looking at some of you here. I'm looking at Antonio and stuff like wisdom. I promise you, no computer knows the situation you were in when you were in 20s, 30s, the grocery store, dealing with a wife or a sick family. You'll get some knowledge. You won't get wisdom. So all of you right now, look at your marketing and say, how do I be the wisdom business? The next thing is, they're saying every human almost on planet Earth with a house is going to have one robot in their house in the next decade. And you're going to buy the first ones for about $20,000. Now, you guys, I'm pretty excited about this, Nick, because every now and then I got this young idiot at midnight that drives his car with a loud exhaust down the road. And I want to be like this. I'm calling my robot Ninja. So just, you can't take it. So I'm going to be like this. That damn car, Ninja, Go chase that fucking thing and rip the muffler. And my robot's going to run down the road and rip the muffler off the car. And so we're going to have robot wars, right? Because you're going to say, I don't like my neighbor. It's going to be like that movie where the robots are using, I don't like my neighbor. You're going to be like, really? Let's meet. And what it means is you're going to sit and eat popcorn and robots are going to fight. So there's going to be a whole bunch of rules. But now you guys see the video. You don't really think that's a robot fighting. Let me explain something to everybody here. If that robot knows how to do martial arts, I'm not going to fight steel. I'm going to buy a bazooka and blow it off the planet Earth. Like, come on now. I don't care what you think that robot's going to do. Wisdom says, I will destroy you. Knowledge says, I'll try to compete against you. Do you understand? Now, I get to talk to you guys on a warrior level. Maybe if I'm in a neutered group, maybe I got to pull it back and talk about like butterflies more, but I don't have to do that here. So we have Mbox and we have technology and we have robots here. Okay. Now, what's the indicators that tell you a story? Okay. Whatever you experience, and are you getting value? Type in the chat bar. I hope you're getting value. In 2008, I've been through 2008, 9/11, Y2K, right? And being on my own at 15. So I've been through all the wars. If you look at 2008, I learned that the best thing for creating a simulation is statistics of what happened in lifetimes. Do you know that history only repeats itself because you believe it will?
So true.
If you didn't believe history repeats itself, you wouldn't. So, but anything that's, you know what a mantra is, right? Anything you say over and over enough, it becomes your belief system. That's what a mantra is. If you ever want to read a book, if you've never read it, read the book Outwitting the Devil. Did anybody ever read it?
Absolutely.
Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. He talks in there, Ace, he talks in there about harmonic rhythm. Just go back and listen to that section about harmonic rhythm, because harmonic rhythm is the #1 control mechanism you're seeing today until we get energy, more energy control where are all of you running out to get the Neuralink put in your brain? Huh, come on now, really? Yeah, so I could turn on and off. You don't want to be turned on and off, right? So one of my indicators from 2008 was repossessions. Car repossessions. You should write that down. When car repossessions go up, it's a #1 economic indicator that we're heading for turbulence. You know why? They take cars before they take houses. So I watch repossessions. Now, just so you know, repossessions are all the indicators. All right, I'm going to share something with you guys. I hope it's okay I share my screen, Nick.
Yeah, please, let's do it. These guys love it.
I'll tell you what. I'll give this to you, Nick, but I will ask a very clear favor. I'm going to show it to you. I'll give it to you, and I'm really serious, Nick, so I'm going to tell you in a minute. I'll give it to you, but it cannot be public for a reason. I use this in my highest level group, and my highest level group is the top doctors, AI experts, like insurance. I always say I'm the expert to the expert's expert, right? So please, I'll get it to you, but none of you, please don't share it. When you see, you're going to see why, because so there's a code of honor. And I know I'm talking to a bunch of people that probably follow the theories of Bushido, so I don't have to say any more than that with you guys. All right. So I built this. Now I'm not telling you I'll blow it. Oh, you know what? Let me share it this way. It'll be better. I have it on my tablet because I just went through this. So you're going to see a whole bunch of shit circled on it. I'll send you the one without it circled just because I just taught this yesterday morning to my highest level group. But it's going to make a point for you guys. And I promise after, when you see it, you're probably, and as soon as you realize you want a copy of it, tell me in the chat bar. And if you don't, you won't hurt my feelings. I just won't send it. This is called economic triangulation. And also, so you're aware, I might still teach this. So please don't tell everybody I'm giving it to you, because if I teach this over a couple hours, I'm going to charge $500 or $1,000. But because of Nick, I'm going to share it. So you thank and love him later. So in here, it has a bunch of updates about it, but I went through stats. And here's some of the stats I look at. You guys are going to get it, so you don't have to write notes. Unemployment rate, vehicle repossessions, foreclosures, and interest rates. I then did a triangulation, a whole lot of research. I used some AI. I had to go back in history. I had to look at my own time period. And I built it and said there's 3 types of things that will happen. Here's if we have a soft landing, what it could look like. All right, I'm going to go quick through this because Nick has other questions. Here's if we have, see up here, if we have stagnation, right? Stagnation with technological displacement. Now, some of this might be a little heavy for you, but when you read it, you'll read it a bunch of times, you'll get it. Direction number 3 is a deep recession with technological disruption, which we know that we're facing the catalyst. I always wondered, like, wait a minute, let's use some logic, everybody. We went to the moon. We haven't went back to the moon, but we're going to Mars. I'm pretty sure because someone said, don't come back to the fucking moon. I don't think it's rocket science. And that's if we really went to the moon or it was something else, which I don't look in trying to prove what happened. I look at my greatest truth of myself. And will my truth make me make some decisions? This is why this was built. So I gave my speculative outlook. Not a financial advisor. I'm not your blood-sucking attorney. If there's any attorney, sorry if I offended you. I'm not that. So you got to do your own due diligence. But I went down here and you guys are going to be able to take all of this and put it in place in your company. This single-handedly right here is going to give you one of the best advantages to not suffer through what I would call one of the greatest purges. And I'll tell you why I believe we have the greatest chance of a depression than ever in history. And they said in 2008, it was a recession, but it was the closest feeling thing to a depression. So I give you 10 things with a whole bunch of bottom stuff here. And you could go through it. And after Nick goes through it, if you guys want to do a deep dive, I give you a conclusion and what to do. If you guys want to do a deep dive or something, I'd be honored to come. We'll spend some time. So simulation is, let's put the numbers to things. The next thing is, let's put, look at this camera. Don't mind this fucking camera. I have a thing where I don't like to read directions. I just hook shit up and use it. And sometimes it gets so personal with me and close. It freaks me out. But you got to do a simulation based on some data. And then you have to look at, you can't sweep anything under the rug. Remember what the pandemic did. It created the first global situation. Now, I know some of you want to talk about money and we're going to be a virtual money and like, how many of your parents are coming in giving you bags of cash? You're probably happy if you do. I would take it, but you're not. Your credit card, you're already in a virtual world. They're trying to make you concerned about something. They watch everything already anyway. That doesn't matter. What matters is we're a global impact. And hang on here. Ready? Cheryl, if it's not scary enough, MPOX, pox from your childhood, because we want to affect the generation that freaks out the most, right? Because you're the ones telling everybody, let me tell you about chickenpox fucking days. We'll tell you, you could catch this from drinking water in San Diego or from like a cow's ass. We're not sure, but be careful of both. I'm like, well, I'm not playing with cows' butts, and I don't live in California. If you do, well, I guess don't drink the water. But brilliant if you sell water, because everything is a brilliant to move you. What's marketing? I'm going to hand it back to you, Nick, because you know me. It'll be midnight. We'll still be going. People's eyes will be rolling in the back of their head. Marketing. Ready? The government's in the game of marketing. Yes. Emotionally moving people from where they're at to where you want them to go. Isn't that true? 100%. That's what marketing is. I remember when I started, I don't know, some of you might know my very first, well, I had one instructor when I was 12. And then when I was 14, I he passed actually. His name was Michael Abruzzi, and he started a thing, Golden Tiger Karate. And I remember looking at a newspaper ad like this, and now, oh, it's so fun. I don't know if you guys love it or hate it, but I'm watching the series with my 22-year-old daughter. I watched it before, but not the new season of Cobra Kai. I fucking love it. I love this because I'm telling my daughter, let me tell you about Miyagi. And then she's like, you're like Miyagi, Dad. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Just let's watch the series. But I remember looking at that thing and saying to myself, he was talking to me because he was saying, are you tired of feeling, not protected or unsafe? Because when, you go back, I'm level 54 now. When you go back, when I started martial arts, it's a different world today. Today, you're like, defend me. And like, cops fall out of the sky. You guys know, some of you know, back then, you're like, defend me. They're like, who? Pick your hands up, kid, and fight. There ain't no one coming to save your day. Today, you say you're an asshole, they want to arrest you. I mean, it's a different world. You guys understand this. But we're all in the business of marketing. But I'm going to give you one more thing, Nick.
Yeah.
You're in the business of not marketing for, this is going to be you just do this when I'm done. Just do this when I'm done.
Okay.
You're in the business of marketing against what everyone else is marketing, not your competitor. I'm marketing against global consciousness, what economy's saying, what the environment is. That's what I'm marketing against. Okay, mic drop a little bit. Okay, thanks. All right,
That's why they're here, Mike. That's what I teach.
back
That's
to
exactly
you.
they know it. That's exactly what I teach.
You're the best at it.
Oh, listen, man, it's crazy because like, yeah, I get attacked by all these other people, whatever, but it's like, that's how I know I'm going in the right direction, Mike. Like
Yeah.
seriously, you said it's like that is the mic drop. But I do have two more questions for you though.
Yeah,
And then,
I got time, man. I'm here.
cool. So yeah, guys, if you love Mike, please give him a round of applause. Was that fire? You guys have been on this call. Please post in the group
Thank
for
you.
everyone else that's missing this stuff because how would they would miss this? It's complete unbelievableness. I don't know if that's even a word. Like post in the marketing group, you're nuts for not coming on this podcast. But Mike, so now that was just fire. Like everyone in here, the comments they love it. We love if you miss what you just talked about marketing the last sentence, like guys, you're in a coma. Like we'll go back and watch it again. That's all you need to hear. Like, and then your own marketing will go to another level yourself. I've been talking about it. So this is great, Mike. I'm so happy to hear that I'm in alignment with your thoughts. Because if I'm in alignment with your thoughts, I know I'm in a very good direction. So
Nick, one more thing when you're done.
Yes.
Ready?
Mhm.
All marketing is marketing to the subconscious mind. Look, see how serious I am? The fucking AI robots, like Mike's getting serious. I think it's just when I raise my voice, it comes, it's like, he's serious today with these guys. You're marketing to the subconscious mind of people, not the conscious. Conscious is like, oh, I got to drink water, I'm sweating my ass off, whatever. The subconscious is how your program says you feel, your scares, your worries, your concerns. That's what it is.
Love
So just keep that in mind.
No, that's great, Mike. I love it. Two more questions real quick. So the first one will be as far as like I know you talked about if you weren't ready for COVID, you weren't prepared. What
Yeah.
should they give me the three things they should be prepared for in the next 3 months? Like, should they have a generator? Should they have like food? I mean, what could just like, go deep as you can, but like, what are three things
Okay.
they should be prepared for?
Look, I am a preparedness. I wouldn't call myself a prepper, but I'm a preparedness.
Yep.
I am a believer that as this election unfolds, you will see these riots come back, right? You'll see those. What you'll never see. Do you guys watch that old video with the tractor trailer and the guy gets out? Who was that? And they're beating him up, and I think he had a fire extinguisher. You know what they never show you on news? One of you guys getting out of that tractor trailer and feeling like fucking Musashi. I'm like, they would caption it. Tractor trailer gets pulled over by 500 people, and out of the truck comes Minamoto Mike Musashi. Because I am fucking taking down so many people till they eat me like zombies. They never show that shit. Freaks me out because they're manipulating it, right? And I know all of you would be the same way. I'm human. I always say I was a Buddhist for like over a decade, and people would say, you're such an aggressive Buddhist. I said, because I'm a Buddhist with a twist, right? With a twist. I do believe food is a smart thing to have. It is one of the things that could be contaminated. I don't have a million tons of food, but I do have some of those. They got those 20-year shelf life foods because now my wife always feels safe. You know why? Because she said, can you buy, I want you to have some food in case something happens. I said, look, I'll buy it. But just, I told my wife, understand, if there's a day we're starving, I will just cut layers of skin off my arm and feed you till I'm done. I'll fucking cauterize my arm and feed you my flesh. So my wife felt pretty safe with me since we're 15 years old, which is 38 years. So food is smart. I'm a right to bear arms guy. My son, he's a little deeper on the right to bear arms. This is funny. You guys will love this. My son's 25. You guys will love him. Nick should have him on. If you want Nick, please have him on. If you want 25-year-old wisdom from a kid with a beard who literally have a picture of him training in the dojo, 6 months old, and I'm moving his hand like this. You see, son? You see, my son's like the
Get
fucking
him on. Let's get both of you guys on.
American Ninja.
Okay.
He says to me the other day, he's like, Dad, I'm going to buy some bullets. And I'm like, all right, son, like, we just need enough bullets to go get the food we need, right? He's like, yeah, but we need more. Anybody else have a son? He's like, we need more bullets. So I'm like, it's $258. They're on special. So now he works for my company. He's amazing. I'm like, I'll buy him because what am I going to do? Give my kids money when I'm dead? So I'm like, I'll buy the bullets. And then he goes, Dad, you should buy some for you too. So I'm like, all right, son, just buy some bullets for me. And I said, just tell me what. Oh, and then he says, Dad, just send to my bank account $758. I'm like, did you buy a fucking grenade in there? It's so funny. It's so funny. I'm a believer in the right to bear arms. Not everybody believes that until they are murdered or raped or a gun in their face, but I am a believer. So I don't believe you could go wrong with ammunition. I'm not a gold guy. I believe it's okay to have it, but I'm not you need a bunch of gold and silver. I just think you need enough bullets to get gold and silver if you really had to. And you guys are strategists, right? So, anybody's read The Art of War, it's easy for us. It does make sense. Cash on hand, look, they used to say keep 3 months. I just said to my team the other day, my group, they asked me the similar question. I said, I believe you need 12 months of reserve. There's no depression that ended in 6 months. It just didn't. You need a solid 12 months. So whatever your cash is. I think what's even more, you guys would probably be surprised, most of you that don't know my life, because even though I've done a lot of incredible things and amassed a lot of wealth, I'm an extremely simple guy because I have another instructor I trained with 19 years underground. I don't know if any of you know him. His name was Chris Rossman. He is and was amazing. I mean, I watched the guy cut a hornet out of an air with a katana blade, and I trained in Tenshinryu Kenjutsu for, 19 years. And, the one thing he told me, which is even more important, Nick, is he said, you'll own material things or they'll own you. So I live at the Jersey Shore. I have a great house. I am not material driven. I don't care. A matter of fact, my wife's, you know what my wife's full-time vehicle is? It's a little compact RV. She had the fancy BMW. She drove it once a month. And I'm like, what are we doing? But the RV has our own bathroom. She's like, oh, I'm going to LL Bean and I have my own bathroom and a refrigerator. I'm like, fucking amazing. That's what she drives as her full-time vehicle. The other thing I would say is, health. You guys know this because you're in this space. But I think there's health and there's health on another level. I never drank alcohol my entire life. I've never done drugs my entire life. Haven't done caffeine in 18 years. I haven't done gluten in 15 years. I don't want to say give up. I relocated out of my life for what an Italian's toughest thing to do, and it's dairy, cheese. I don't do it. And people say, oh my God, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, my dad died at 76 in November last year, and he never gave up cheese, and he battled a lot. And So I believe anybody teaching mastery, it goes back to mastering yourself. And that's what I've been doing. My wife says you're like a fucking unicorn. We know they exist. We just never met one. And so I think you have to be dialed in. Next thing, your mind. Your mind. The best way to have a future is to remove any of your shame, guilt, and traumas. Get dialed in on it. If you deal with negative self-talk, if you deal with, I have a guy the other day told me, no, I worked through all my trauma. And then he starts to share an experience and starts breaking down crying. I'm like, oh, okay, do you feel any of it anymore? He's like, no, not really. And he's like bawling. I'm like, nothing? I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, dude, listen, it's okay. But if you can't share, here's an indicator for trauma. If you can't share a story without starting to have tears and break down, unless they're tears of grace, that's different. But if you can't share a story without breaking down, like I'll share it here because my mom will never see it. But you know, when I used to share a story when I was 14 and my mom was going through a divorce, she tried to take her life twice with pills. I could never share that story. I was bathing my 7-year-old sister and taking care of it. I used to break down and get teary-eyed, but that was trauma. Now I could share it because it's experience. Okay. So I think I know going into this new world, you have to be very level set. And the last part is, and I could go on, is your family. You know, how do you dial them in to think? And look, there's like I tell my son, you know, if things crap out, you can't possibly believe. I have a guy in the IT space, Nick. He's like, no, really, that whole internet thing, it's because they have one software system. Are you fucking kidding me? You're telling me this big infrastructure's on one software system that took down all of the internet for airplanes, and you're talking to 90% of the idiots in the world? Like, come on, you can't believe that. But my son, I'm like, hey, you live in Maine, I live in Jersey. We need a couple points to pick because, like, you can't try to come to me and I'm trying to get to you because we're going to miss each other. I said, we need 3 different points. If the world blows up to the south, where do we meet in the north? If it blows up in the north, where do we meet in the south? If it blows up everywhere, son, let's just know we'll meet in another time in another planet and we'll be fine together. Right? Because I tell everybody, I don't disappear. Your consciousness does not die. You're only believed you're dying. That's my own belief. Why? Because I understand the energetic world. I understand this. And most people, you can't share it because, look, you got to think Yeshiva. I mean, he's a guy I looked up for many years. You know, you look at his movements, you watch his videos, and you just know there's energetic movement there. It is beyond martial movement. You know, now I don't believe in all the things today, but, you know, I've watched some pretty amazing people control energy, and I've learned how to do a lot of it too myself. So let me pause there in case there's another question or you want me to go deeper.
No, that's good, Mike. We have to go, but
Yeah.
yeah, because we have other calls and stuff. But I know we went over a little bit too. So no, man. What I can do though is I could stop the podcast, and then
Yeah.
I'm sure these guys have questions for you, and they could ask you some questions. So
Let's do it.
yeah, brother. Let's give Mike a hand though, first, guys. For everyone that was fire. Everyone loved it. So thank you so much, Mike. I'll stop the recording.